Ms. Tulsian, we'll address pre-opening as well. Your thoughts on you would have heard the conversation. Your thoughts on the stock?
See, Anuj, actually, I'm playing more on the theme of the stake sale by the company. And in fact, I think if I'm not wrong, we have discussed this in the afternoon show about a couple of days back, where in fact this news was, or maybe the rumor was floating in the market that the groups are looking to sell prior to even this crisis which we have seen in case of Essel Group happening. So yes, this seems to be a very good assets. Companies having presence in more than 20, 23, 24 countries, and it's a global company with a very strong presence in the packaging, oral care as well as pharma. So maybe, and in fact there seem to be quite many suitors also. And I think whatever informations prior to this debt problem which has seen having emerged in Essel Group, the Ashok Goel, the one brother of the family of Subhash Chandra family, was not seen to be too keen as well. That's what is when the market has been saying for last 3-4 months. So if this cleaning process of the recovery of the loan and all those things are seen happening, that is seen positive, with the net debt of about maybe 500-600 crore and market cap of about 3,500 crore can really fetch good value, because promoter stake is quite significant at about 58-59%. So if you take the prospective stake sale by the promoters, that it can fetch a good value, because that will trigger the open offer also, with the acceptance ratio will also be very high.
Okay, I think we're getting the first rates, and it is decently in the green. The bond yields have not shown any change, and I think we also have the rupee level, which is a stronger rupee, 71.29.31. That is still dollar cheaper by a few pice compared to when it closed on Monday. The stocks itself are opening reasonably in the green, 0.4% higher is what we have. Let's see if there are any standout performance. Are the banks doing well? We just want to check out if there is any green on the banks. They should logically be advantaged. Okay, what we have in terms of green is ONGC, Bajaj Finance, Indiabulls Housing, Dr. Reddy's, yes. That's a box on news, maybe an additional positive. Yes Bank about 1% higher. Not fireworks, but somewhat in the green, 0.25% higher for the Nifty.
I think even the currency market after one-day gap has opened, and not too much happening in that market as well. There are a couple of stocks out of F&O bands, CG Power and Gen Irrigation. I think I'll watch out for those two stocks if there's any kind of short covering in both these names. TCS is still down a bit, so that would be interesting, though it's covering off a bit now. And Praj Industries has been a remarkable stock, perhaps the stock of the year in the broader market. So 2% higher once again on that stock.
Dr. Reddy's as well, right? There's some positive news for incremental there. So Dr. Reddy's continues to move forward, up almost about 1.5%. And in the broader market, just watch out for a couple of these names like NTPC, etc. That are in the news. So NTPC right now, it was trading about 0.5% higher over there. Mr. Tulsian, I wanted your thoughts on how to approach these IT names, the larger ones. There's been a bit of selling pressure, delivery-based selling, names like TCS, Infosys, etc. Would you buy into the dip, or do you think that the run is done here?
See, Sonia, in fact, for the last maybe 2-3 months, we have been remaining away from the large cap IT stocks, more specifically the TCS and Infosys, but keeping extremely positive view on the mid cap ITs. And in fact, one can include the Tech Mahindra also. Just now, CP Gurnani was on the channel, and tomorrow they have a buyback. But if you take a valuation call, maybe on the stocks like Tech Mahindra, Mindtree, or maybe the stocks like Tata Elxsi, Hexaware, L&T Infotech, L&T Technology Services, maybe because of their niche or maybe because of their valuations, both are seen to be looking quite good. And I don't think that the commentary from any of these mid-cap IT scenes is seen to be negative or maybe disappointing. In fact, all are sticking to the growth guidance for the FY20 as well. And if you take the valuation call, they are all seen to be ruling anywhere between 12 to 14 times, which is seen to be quite reasonable. Take the case of Tech Mahindra, probably they will be having an EPS of closer to 58 to 60 for FY20, and share is ruling at around 800. And if you have the buyback also, and on the back to back the price, these all seem to be quite good. Same is the case with Tata Elxsi, Hexaware, having run up so much in this last couple of months, still seem to be having good value, because traditionally that stock always ruled at a level of about 440 to 470, 75. So yes, we are keeping extremely positive view on the mid-cap IT rather than this larger ones, TCS or maybe Infi, which is more played as a tactical trade for index balancing or index management.
And Mr. Tulsian, Dr. Reddy's, Ekta says there is an additional positive in terms of their being able to launch Suboxone now in the US, which could mean another $30-40 million.
Lata, in fact, in case of Dr. Reddy, that is what I have been saying, that it's not seen sustaining their upper levels, maybe 2700, 2650. In fact, I've said this couple of days back also, when again we had one of the good news for the US FDA plant. So taking all this into consideration, I don't think that prices are seen sustainable. Maybe stock having, a level of 2300 looks to be more having margin of safety. But so take the range of about maybe 2450 to about 2650 to 2700, and I think that this stock is likely to trade in this range only.
Okay, Mr. Tulsian, just stay on. We'll come back to you for more. We also have Manoj Muralidharan of Religare Securities who joins into our discussion. The market, by the way, has adjusted about 0.5% higher. So seems like the start will be in the green. Whether it gets sold into or not, that is really the key question. Manoj, hi, morning. What's your own advice on the index and what would individual stock ideas be for the day?
Yeah, good morning, Sonia. Sonia, I guess I was just listening to this discussion of the weekly options in the Nifty that has started from 11th of Feb. So ideally, generally, I guess even last time I was saying, that gives rise more to the intrinsic value of the option, and which in turns gets your VIX up, the volatility index up by at least a 1 to 2%, which simply says that the swing, which is your movement in either direction, can go up. Now, ideally, what we are seeing is once we were in the vicinity of 10,700, the FIR stats clearly says that we are not really seeing directional sell. It was more like an index future and an option combination. And I believe that this level of 10,600 holds more importance, because I guess we are maintaining this level of 10,300 to 800 since last 3 months, I guess September, October onwards. The weighted average is closer to this, around 600. And on the upside, if we surpass the 10,830, we again go back to 11,000. So the trade here is to buy at 10,600 to maybe a 650, keep a stop loss of 50-60 more points on the downside, and we are expecting the Nifty to go or hover towards a 10,830. Now, because we have the expiry tomorrow, you can simply buy, even for the Bank Nifty, you can buy a 26,900 call option. Try and buy it between a 30 to 40 odd rupees. Ideally, you should not keep a stop loss in that, but still, if I have to quantify, it would be 10 on that, and we are expecting the target to be 100 rupees on that. Now, as you asked for stock specific, we again like ITC. I guess this stock is poised for a good rally till almost 330, but then that sounds too optimistic at this point of time. So we take it step by step. I guess the first level of 297 is where we might see some distribution. So you buy at this level of 275, let's say, and a stop loss of 265. Sector-wise, cements are seeing good buying, and we believe now we are towards almost towards the expiry of this contract of Feb. So we generally see stock-specific action in terms of rollover and the VWAP concept, which is a volume-weighted average price, which happens. So Ambuja tops the list, I guess, buying it close to 198 with a stop loss of 6 odd rupees on the downside, and we're expecting a target of 214 on that.
All right, Manoj, thanks a lot for all those trading ideas. Yes Bank has settled as a top Nifty gainer in pre-opening. Mr. Tulsian, incremental thoughts on this one. Are you fairly sanguine that it's made some kind of bottom now, and regardless of news flow, perhaps would move higher? Is there going to be some money which would move to Yes Bank now?
Anuj, this view we have been holding when the stock corrected from 190 to 175. In fact, we have been, after that rise of to 240, it corrected, it fell back to 190. And since then, we have been giving a buy call, and though it fell thereafter again to 175, maybe on the fear of ADAG or DHFL, I don't know. So we have been, in fact, keeping positive view. And again, in fact, maybe a couple of days back also, I've said that once Mr. Gill will come in, will take charge, that will really be seen quite positive, because he has been seen a very respectable person in the banking industry, and in fact we are holding positive view for that also, for him also. And apart from that, the divergence report, but I think now even this RBI reprimand of the divergence report having made is seen to be behind. And yes, there is no reason why the money will not flow the way we have seen money moving more into the Axis Bank. So similar will be the case with Yes Bank. And that look at taking that into account, we are in fact expecting the level of about 245 in next couple of months on the stock.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Tulsian, we'll thank you on that note. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll of course talk to you in closing bell. For now, the pre-open has settled 51 points higher on the Nifty, 100 points higher on the Bank Nifty, and 212 points higher on the Sensex. Ashwani, is there an index trade here, and what's your 9-10 call?
Well, index trade, if we are going to open at 10,670, 680, you can try your first shot. And overall, I would think today is more likely to be choppy, unlikely to have great direction. And individual stocks, PFC is a buy with a stop of 104, target of 116. What we need to see is what happens post 12 o'clock. Does the upside continue, or again, the momentum is too low to see follow through?
Okay. Fair point. We will be, of course, touching base with you at that time and before that. Sudarshan, anything new? Sensex settling 0.6 higher.
Well, for the 9-10 call, it is, you can consider buying L&T with a stop at 1245 and a target of 1280. The levels of 10,650 in the cash Nifty should hold for a buying to come in, and that buying is possible. Now, there is no definition of actually holding, so wait for 2 hours. If we are still above 10,650, that's a buy.
And Mitesh, what about you? At 9-10, what would the top call be for you?
Yeah. So I would choose a buy on Grasim. I think it's giving a good reversal on the intraday charts from oversold levels. So 744.45 being the first target. The stock can be bought with a stop at 709.
Okay, let's do one thing. Let's now also get the commodity cues. Manisha is here for a quick roundup. Manisha, good morning.
Morning, Anuj. Actually, 2 to 3 things to watch in the global markets. One is the optimism between the US and China trade talks, where the US president has said that the March 1st is not a magical date and there is an extension of the deadline possible, and that seems to be working well. So Asia clearly has opened positive because of that. The other is that because of this, you have seen the safe haven buying in US dollar decline a bit. So there is some profit taking in the dollar index. And then, of course, it is the FOMC meeting minutes to be released today in the evening. Further cues would come in from that. And these are the factors which actually have been supportive for the industrial commodities. So the crude oil prices continue to hold around those 3-month highs. We are still between 20 to 24% up for both the crude varieties in this year. On one side, it is the output cuts, the involuntary cuts as well, and a bit of a demand concerns, of course, and that's keeping a lid on the prices there. In the industrial metal space, it is quite a divided view. You have the profit-taking come in case of steel and iron ore prices. Remember, we saw that huge run-up because of Vale and what happened in Brazil. So we are looking at a second straight day of decline there. If you look at the steel prices, it's down nearly 2% right now, or 1-month lows on that. Iron ore price is down 1.5% as well. But when you look at the base metal prices, nickel, zinc, copper, these metals are up nearly 0.5% on LME and Shanghai. It is the US and China trade talks that are keeping this space quite excited.
Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you very much for joining us, Manisha. We'll, of course, touch base with you for some trading ideas later on in the morning. Markets look like are opening well over 0.5% higher and above the 10,650 mark. Any of the banks you would play, Mitesh? Yes Bank, of course, is starting the highest at 2% higher. But a bunch of banks are in the green, and yesterday it was the outperforming sector.
In fact, yesterday a lot of PSU banks were showing good intraday traction, and I think in that sense, PNB can possibly head towards 74, 75. Similarly, a Bank of Baroda, after many days of decline, is now showing signs of reversal and could head towards 106, 107. So maybe you would want to play these stocks if you're playing for a 1-2 day kind of long positions.
Okay, 30 seconds to go. Sudarshan, would you buy any of the IT stocks on a dip for the long term?
No, TCS and Infosys are both buying opportunities at current levels. If you are a 1-year investor and don't worry about the prices, if they go 10% lower, nothing to go wrong on it.
Okay. There's just news coming in from some of the bankers saying that the sale of the SR plant is not going to make a material difference because most of it is, they're not provided for the entire thing.